Shove it, man!
Alright, it's Week of the Hawk with another episode of Ring of the Hawk. Just a quick announcement, I've had to delete my Raven video. Not for copyright reasons, it's been deemed as adult-only content. This is a new thing that's happening and it's getting more and more difficult to use any clips of hardcore matches on here. So yeah, that's a thing. I'm so glad I wasted 3 days of my life making that video. Anyway, I'm going to shove it on Patreon because there's no way of getting that video on YouTube. There's just hardcore matches all throughout that video. It's a waste of time. But on to today's video. It's Season 3 of Ring of the Hawk, and with today's guy, we have simply one mission. Beat Bastion Booger. He's our current biggest shover on Season 3, so we don't want to finish below him. The matches were bad, he was a complete joke, and if that wasn't bad enough, they had to make him do disgusting things too, like food slopping and dribbling all over his face. And that attire! I felt not only annoyed, but also sick. So if today's competitor only has to beat Bastion Booger, you would think I don't have high hopes, and you would be right. I have zero hopes for this one. And of course,
if you know a wrestler who can do the J.O.B. to the H.J.W.K. any night, any day, ha ha, shove their name in the comments, Jack!
Okay, it's Giant Gonzalez. His attire so ugly he'd be better wearing pyjamas. The Giant Gonzalez debuts at Royal Rumble 93, fresh off his stint with WCW, which I plan on covering in a separate Ring of the Hawk video, God help me. He isn't actually an entrant in the Royal Rumble match, but he's here with his manager Harvey Whippleman and he's here to beat up The Undertaker. He does that for a while, it's very slow and boring. Match 1, Superstars, 3-on-1 handicap match, Scott Bazo, Darren Farron and good old Louis Spicolli. Always good to see that guy. And they take on Giant Gonzalez with his manager Harvey. He has a fake bodysuit attire that gives him muscles, and for some reason, a lot of fur all over his body. He's billed at 8 foot tall. His face doesn't even look real for some reason, even though it's probably the only real thing he has. The jobbers have a conversation about what to do with him. The Giant gets bored and grabs Louis by his haircut and brings him into the ring. He chokes Spicolli with one arm for almost 40 seconds whilst the arena falls silent. Eventually, Gonzalez does a choke slam. The two other jobbers dump in their nappies of fear and run away, and Gonzalez is the winner. He looks about as mobile as a hawk without wings. He literally did 2 things, and just like that, he gets booked in a WrestleMania match. I'll be fair and give him a D for his debut, because he does have a presence about him, although I'm not sure what kind of presence. Whippleman pretty much cuts all the promos for Gonzalez. It looks so weird seeing Giant Gonzalez doing all these weird hand movements and expressions whilst his manager talks. It's like he's trying to practice some sort of wacky dance routine at the same time. He literally doesn't wrestle a single match for the next month and a half. It's explained as everybody is just too scared to face him. I think it's because WWE bosses know he sucks. Have to say, he looks a lot more normal in a suit. Why on earth did they give him such a wacky attire? Match 2, Superstars. Giant Gonzalez with Whippleman taking on wrestling superstar Virgil. Virgil tries dancing around the ring for a while and ducking the Giant. That doesn't last long and Gonzalez grabs him by the throat and pushes him into the corner. Now they do a test of strength, whilst Virgil is stood on the top rope. Actually a really cool spot, and it's something I've never seen before. Virgil is just about taller than him now. The Giant wins that and hits one knee in the corner. That's quickly followed up by a back club and a stomp. A second club follows and a kick to the ribs. Virgil wasn't done though and he goes running. He hits 2 drop kicks, but the second is swatted away. Giant Gonzalez clotheslines him, and it's the choke, which only lasts about 10 seconds this time, and the choke slam ends it. He does it again after the bell, because he's a dick I guess. I actually didn't hate this as a segment. Once you get past his terrible attire, it is watchable. I didn't say good, I said watchable. Another D. We're on track to beating the Booger so far, and that's all I asked. Match 3, WrestleMania 9. Gonzalez with Harvey Whippleman takes on The Undertaker, who's with Paul Bearer and a Hawk. For some reason, Gonzalez looks weirder than ever for this match. We start off with a stare down before Gonzalez starts clubbing him, which Taker no-sells. He starts throwing his own shots back. The Undertaker is now choked on the second rope whilst Gonzalez isn't even looking at him. Taker turns the table so Gonzalez smacks him in the slash zone. Well, it's one of the slowest matches I've ever seen. Taker gives him a bad looking old school. Then The Undertaker unfortunately walks straight into a big boot from the big man and it's a clothesline that follows it. A giant throw across the ring from Gonzalez now. Lots of boring walking around and rest holds. The story here is that Gonzalez has the better of the dead man, but Paul Bearer keeps raising up the urn, which in turn makes the dead man raise up. Is this thing still going on? Taker starts smacking him in the ring, which causes Gonzalez to do some of the silliest, fakest looking selling of all time. What a goofball. Gonzalez has thrown a chloroform rag from his manager and he chokes out The Undertaker. The ref lets it go for a bit for some reason and then eventually decides on a DQ finish. You'd think it's all over, but it isn't. Gonzalez walks around the ring for 5 minutes taunting the crowd. I was actually relieved to see him chokeslam the referee. He's finally doing something. Taker is taken away on a stretcher with Gonzalez still in the ring. The crowd chant Hogan, but they won't be getting him. The Undertaker's music hits again and he's back. He's fine now. Taker's all fired up and he hits clothesline, not once, not twice, but sort of thrice, and it sure wasn't nice. Gonzalez bails, and unfortunately this feud isn't over. At 7.5 minutes, it was far more Gonzalez than I wanted to see. Just seeing his attire for 5 seconds is enough. I hate this match, it's one of the most boring ones I've ever seen, it's an S. Check out this promo from Gonzalez, it's just him gritting his teeth whilst the voiceover threatens wrestlers in the WWF. All Gonzalez does is grit his teeth and growl. Match 4 superstars, the Giant Gonzalez with Harvey Whippleman takes on Tatanka. His opponent looks intimidated on the ring apron. He eventually grows a nutsack and gets in. Tatanka tries to raise up some spirits before his attack, but he's immediately floored. A choke and a knee in the corner from Gonzalez. He keeps hold of his throat and shoves him in the opposite corner. Finally, the match increases by at least 5 miles an hour as Tatanka goes running into a big boot. Tatanka fires up again with some punches to the fake abs. He climbs to the top with a diving punch. He does this not once, not twice, but thrice. Oh, the third doesn't work. And he's caught, and guess what? A chokehold. Giant Gonzalez does the choke slam anyway and keeps the choke on. I wish someone would choke me. I'm tired of seeing this. I'll message a girl, she's into that sort of thing. Match 5, Raw. Giant Gonzalez, who has a new attire. It's the same as the old attire, except it's not flesh coloured now. It's more silver. So a slight improvement, I guess. Why can't they just ditch this thing altogether? And he takes on a jobber called LA Whore. Well, it's the same as the very first match, except he's facing one man, not 3. LA Whore seems like a pretty interesting jobber though. Even Giant Gonzalez' big boot looks bad here. How is he only able to get his leg up to chest height with his size advantage? It goes 1 minute before the choke and the slam ends it. It's an F. Match 6, SummerSlam 93, Rest in Peace match. It's Giant Gonzalez taking on the Dead Man. We actually have a new level to the story here. Harvey Whippleman has stolen the Undertaker's urn, so Taker doesn't have his source of power. What's a Rest in Peace match, you might ask? It's a no DQ match. It sounds more like a buried alive or a casket match. Undertaker starts out like a hawk on fire with punches and chokes in the corner. We're already moving at snail's pace and we're 1 minute into the match. Gonzalez slowly boots him away from the corner. Taker tries running clotheslines now, which doesn't work, and Gonzalez does, I don't know, something to him. Taker sits up, so Gonzalez lobs him out the ring. Slow motion punching trade-off on the outside. Eventually Taker is sent into the steps. He seems to be trying to reach out for his little urn. We're back in the ring now and Taker is still crawling at the urn whilst Gonzalez hits him. Giant Gonzalez gives Undertaker a lovely smile and whips him into the corner. Suddenly Paul Bearer makes his way out to a massive ovation. He gives Harvey Whippleman a clothesline and now he has retrieved the urn. Gonzalez is still in control as he hits a bad looking scoop slam. He notices that Bearer has the urn, which distracts him. After an uppercut, Gonzalez drops to one knee and Taker climbs to the top rope. The Undertaker hits a diving clothesline and believe it or not, that is the 3 count. This was the longest match, so at least that's out of the way. It was slightly better than their WrestleMania match, but that's like saying the dump I took today was better than the dump I took yesterday. There really wasn't much to enjoy here. Oh yeah, and Gonzalez turns face, I think, after the match. He attacks his manager. The chokeslam looks terrible on this small man. Well, I'm sure this face turn would change things for the better. It's an S. Match 7, I think, from Wrestling Challenge, but screw it, there isn't many matches on today's Ring of the Hawk. The Giant Gonzalez waves at the crowd in a desperate manner to get them to cheer him. It doesn't work because his opponent will be the Macho Man Randy Savage. Savage pretty much just hits 2 diving axe handles. It's not quite over yet as the Giant grabs him around the throat and then quickly drops him to the mat. Giant Gonzalez starts arguing with Harvey Whippleman, which distracts the referee. Savage smacks him in the back of a chair. How the hell did the ref not see or hear that? And that enables Savage to put him away with the diving elbow drop. It was over in less than 2 minutes. He sucks. It's an F. Once again, Gonzalez chokeslams Whippleman, or at least I think it was meant to be because he drops him. He doesn't slam him. Match 8, final match. Battle Royal for the number 1 contendership for the IC title. So get the gist, he's not winning it or get my fist. The entire roster stand and stare at Gonzalez. This distracts him and Macho is able to dive off the top on him twice. Seconds later, pretty much every man on the roster works together to eliminate Gonzalez. And one of those men was Bastion Booger. You know you're in trouble when the Booger's throwing you out of the match. The match is won by Scott Hall and Rick Martel, the most obvious S of all time. Giant Gonzalez sucks Sonny Siaki's ass and into the shove it zone he's going to pass. Wow, I've watched some seriously bad wrestling in my time, but that was the most limited run I've ever seen. What were his moves? I don't know, a bad looking chokeslam? Hey, at least he chokes them beforehand, unlike chokeslams nowadays. The third tallest man from South America to ever live passed away in 2010, at the age of 44. He had severe heart issues. The only positive I can find is congratulations, Giant Gonzalez, you aren't as bad as Bastion Booger, who did make me feel sick on a regular basis. That video still gives me nightmares, and if you don't agree with that, I've zero cares.